There was an article that came out by Protocol a week ago, and the article calls for something called the Palantir Mafia. And this is a play on words for something that was called the PayPal Mafia. And it makes fun of or pokes at the people that invented PayPal, including Peter Thiel, including Elon Musk, and a couple of other people. They went on to form multi-billion-dollar corporations, trillion-dollar corporations, and they are all super mega rich. So this plays on that, calling now for the Palantir Mafia, that a lot of alumni, a lot of the top brass over at Palantir ended up opening up their own corporations, mega corporations, or partnering up and teaming up and making crazy startups with others in this so-called Palantir Mafia. Now, this was covered by Ahmet. He did a fantastic job, and now I want to cover it myself. However, I'm going to do something a little different than other YouTubers are not doing. I actually found other articles that was calling for the Palantir Mafia 8 years ago, and I want to read you that article, that publication of what people were saying 8 years ago, and compare it to last week's Protocol article that came out about the Palantir Mafia. Now, if you appreciate this type of out-of-the-box type of thinking and analytics, please hit me up with a like, a share, and subscribe. It doesn't take a lot of time. Just hit it down below so that I can get some help reaching the top of the almighty YouTube algorithm. Because if you want people to actually find Palantir and maybe possibly buy Palantir, but none of this is financial advice because I am purely an entertainer and educator at best, well, you need to get this video to the top of the list so that when people check something that says stock market or investing in stocks, so on and so forth, this video can get to the top and possibly people are going to buy Palantir shares, which is then going to lead to a supply and demand influx, and the price of Palantir stock will hopefully go up. Without further ado, let me read the Protocol article. Move over PayPal Mafia, meet the Palantir Pack. And then they have all of these pictures up above about Palantir, Protocol, Anduril, 8VC, Palumni, VC, Arena. And I don't really know a lot of these companies. I know what Anduril is. Anduril is actually helping us build the prototype for the Army's Titan program. So let's see what they say. The network of startups and venture capitalists that has spun out of Palantir has created an under-the-radar phenomenon. This article came out exactly a week ago. Meet the Palantir Pack. Tonight, a bunch of PayPal alumni will be gathering at Peter Thiel's mansion in LA to celebrate the 20th anniversary of its IPO. It's a well-known group thanks to the infamous Fortune magazine photo shoot of the PayPal Mafia and their network of startups and venture firms that have come out from its founders. But PayPal isn't the only mafia that Thiel is part of. Thiel was one of the founders of Palantir, the data company that quietly and sometimes controversially built itself into a multi-billion-dollar business. It's been a shining example of PayPal Mafia. It's been spawned a network of its own thanks to the unique culture that contributed to many successful startups, venture funds that emerged from it. I'm calling it the Palantir Pack. All right, cool. To be a successful mafia by tech standards, Keith Rabos once suggested to me that you need at least 3 unicorns to come out of a long with a distinct culture. So a unicorn is a company that is valued of $1 billion or more. 1 billion or more considers you to be a unicorn by Silicon Valley and Wall Street standards. So they're saying that you need $3 billion companies plus you need to have a distinct culture. Wow, this is interesting. I see OpenSea already, and it's going to be a lot of companies that we know about, but I didn't know these come from Palantir. The big companies in Palantir's pack would meet Rabos' definition, including startups like defense tech platform Anduril. Anduril is a perfect complement of hardware to Palantir software, and that's why they're working together to build something. Anduril is not a publicly traded company yet, but when it will be, I will be buying some stocks from Anduril. NFT marketplace OpenSea, I'm shocked. I had no idea. I do know that some of the initial members of Palantir, some of the initial workers at Palantir did open up some cryptocurrency venture capitalist firms, several of them, and they're using Palantir Foundry. I was going to make a video about that. I might actually revive that video. Developer tool SourceGraph and wealth manager Adepar. Other companies like Amplitude and Blend went public in the billion-dollar plus range, although they haven't been spared in the market correction. So that means that it probably went under $1 billion. There's also waves of startups in the middle who are working on unicorn status, like AI startup Arena, Web3 developer tool Curtis, and data science company Hex, all of which announced funding within the last year in the summer of 2022. There's also the funders ready to back the next generation. Venture capitalists like Initialized, Gary Tan, Founder Funds, Trey Steffens, and 8 VCs, Joe Lonesdale, and Alex Moore were all early employees of Palantir. Others like ASIL's Steve Lagoon and XYZ Ventures Ross Fubini were advisors to Palantir. Goldcrest Adam Ross, who was on the Palantir's boards, is also a key investing link between many of the companies. Guy, this is actually pretty freaking amazing. I didn't know any of this. I knew like 1%. I had no idea that some of these companies are from Palantir alums. This is freaking crazy. The Palantir PAC has followed a similar playbook to Palantir. The main twist is that the PAC members have rethought Palantir's trademark secrecy. And then they go over what exactly makes Palantir, right? And I'm sorry for reading the article, but this is the first time that I'm actually personally reading this article, and I find this absolutely fascinating. The Palantir Playbook started by going after big, ambitious, mission-driven problems, hiring the best talent out of universities to do it, building an engineering first culture, and not being afraid to work hard and do unscalable things like deploying engineers out to customers to customize the product and solve the problems. Guys, this is exactly what Palantir does. Big, ambitious mission, driven problem. Hiring the best talent out of universities, giving them stock-based compensation that everybody shits on for some reason, and getting those biggest and baddest minds to work for Palantir. Guys, I am so bullish for Palantir. This is making me so freaking excited. This is just reiterating all of my thoughts and all my thesis and analysis on Palantir, and it's really amazing. And then in this next paragraph, next sentence, they're going to say the difference between Palantir and Silicon Valley. So they say one of the most pathetic versions of Silicon Valley is what I would call whiteboard founders. A whiteboard founder is essentially a founder of a company that wants to make a shit ton of money, don't care about solving hard problems. They want to solve the easiest possible problem, make the money. They have no culture and don't care about anything. And they're saying that this is not Palantir. And the person that's saying this is a guy called Steffens, who is also a co-founder and executive chairman of Adderall. And I quote, "I don't think Palantir alumni companies start that way," talking about like a whiteboard company. It's very interesting. Unlike PayPal's Mafia, it's still expanding. PayPal went public, but then got acquired quickly, which caused an exodus of talent. Palantir still operates much like an engineering institution or SEAL Team 6 for technical talent, said 8 VCs more. Our group is more like the military or something where you give your tour of duty. Now you're really, really tired and need recuperation. And then you're ready to ramp back up. More said of alum. They need a year or two off and then they sort of wake up and call us back. Guys, it's really dope what's happening here. So they're basically saying that people build in Palantir and then they expand and build other things. So somebody's going to say, Adam, how is this good for Palantir if somebody's building in Palantir and then they leave on their own, they branch out? Well, there's always connections and there's always ties. For example, Peter Thiel. Now, I know there's some static and some beef between Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. However, Palantir is working with Tesla. Palantir is working with SpaceX. We found the links, and this was announced in the last earnings call, at least with SpaceX. So there is a connection between the founders. There is a connection between the alumni, just like there's a connection right now of Palantir working with Anduril. And like I said, there is a connection of some crypto startups that are now working with Palantir because they are also alums from Palantir. I can't find the article off the top of my head, but I will make a video on this. I promise to catch up, and I'm glad that I didn't make the video yet because it's so much better now after this. Now I want to read you an article from 8 freaking years ago calling the Palantir Mafia. Really, really crazy. Check this out. So this was on Quora.com, right? And they said, what is distinctive about people who work in Palantir? And there's a lot of different comments, but this guy's name is Ari Gescher. He works at Palantir Technology, and he wrote this response. Again, this is from 8 years ago. What is the distinctive about people that work at Palantir? The people who work at Palantir work here because they are about the sorts of problems that we get to work on. Humanitarian response, disease outbreak control, cybersecurity, anti-fraud, work of all sorts of stripes. Various national security problems, stopping insider trading, prosecuting white-collar crime, delivering healthcare efficiency and correctly, stopping human trafficking, etc., etc., etc. This is not me writing it. This is this guy, Ari Gescher, who's writing this. He says the list is getting kind of ridiculously long at this point. The thing that ties all of these problems together is that they have outcomes that really matter, protecting critical infrastructure, protecting people's lives and welfare, just making the world work better, making the world a better place. Palantir makes the world a better place. I am so glad that I'm making this video. This video is probably going to go so under the radar, but this video is so absolutely important to match the article from today and to match what the employee said 8 years ago. I just want to click on this guy's name, and it looks like he still works there. Works at Palantir Technologies, started at the University of Illinois, lives in Palo Alto, California. Guys, Palantir is doing really amazing things. It's really cool to see that the people working at Palantir also do amazing things. This is just increasing the capabilities of Palantir. This is just increasing the range, increasing the reach of Palantir, and we will, reap the fruits, man. We are planting the seeds right now. The fruits will grow, and we're gonna eat them, and they're gonna be really, really juicy fruits in the form of money, money, money. The price of Palantir is going to go up, in my personal opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, purely entertainment and education. Don't do what I say. For me, Palantir is a freaking amazing, amazing investment. I think we are super early. And somebody asked me, Adam, what about the analysts? To this, I'm going to say Palantir has like 11 analysts covering them, while other companies have 30 plus in the same, field. They don't like Palantir, but what I'm gonna say is none of them are digging deep like this. None of them are digging deep for articles right now, articles 8 years ago, interviewing, ex-employees, interviewing what employers are doing, interviewing what Palantir does. None of them dig deep. Most of the analysts, they only care about the money, and that's the problem. You can't just look at the money. You can't just look at the numbers. It does not work like that if you're trying to build a massive company. Just go back in time and see what analysts used to say about Amazon. Just go back in time, literally. Go on Google and check what analysts were saying about Amazon. Go on Google and see what analysts were talking about Tesla. Just seriously, search what they were saying, and you're gonna find that they were saying caca about them. But they grew to be massive, massive companies. And this is kind of what's happening with Palantir right now. Guys, thank you so much. Give me the likes, give me the shares, give me the subscribe. And if you guys would like some free stocks and help the channel out, I do have a link to Webull and I do have a link to M1 Finance down below. You sign up, you get something, and I get something. Thank you. Have a great day. The Berg is out.